She called our marriage a prison, so I set her free. She laughed when she said it. This marriage feels like a prison sometimes. She clinked glasses with her friends, didn't lower her voice, didn't even glance my way to check if I'd heard. Why would she? I was just the dependable husband, the one working 60-hour weeks to fund her ever-shifting lifestyle and self-discovery hobbies. I was the stable one, the one she didn't need to consider while performing for others. The room buzzed with chatter, but for me, everything went silent. 5 years of sacrifice. 5 years of setting aside my own dreams, of declining career opportunities, of planning every vacation and weekend around her preferences, reduced to a joke she told over wine. I kept my composure that night, smiled, refilled drinks, made conversation. But inside, something cracked. Not loudly, not all at once, but with the subtle weight of a final straw. That night, as she slept peacefully beside me, I stared at the ceiling replaying her words. It wasn't the first time. Just the most obvious. 3 months earlier, she'd said she felt trapped when I brought up starting a family. 6 months before that, she called our life in the suburbs a cushy cage while chatting with her college friends. The signs had been there. I'd just refused to see them. But the next morning, something in me changed. Not rage, not sadness, just cold clarity. If this marriage felt like prison to her, then I would be the one to unlock the cell. But freedom, I realized, comes with consequences. The plan. It started with subtle changes. I stopped checking in during the day. My responses to her demands became measured, not cold, but no longer eager. I began going to the gym again, reconnected with friends she'd deemed immature. She noticed. At first, it was curiosity, then suspicion. Then came the questions, is something wrong? I replied the same way she always had. I'm just finding myself. 2 weeks later, after a particularly forced dinner, I simply shrugged and said, I'm exploring what makes me happy. The irony? She didn't see it. Her accusations came next. I had changed. I wasn't being fair. I wasn't communicating. She had no idea I had already contacted a lawyer. The lawyer was impressed. I had documentation, records, screenshots, texts, financial statements, even a copy of our prenuptial agreement, the one she had signed without reading, too focused. On flower arrangements. I'd always been the reliable one. She didn't think she had to worry. She was wrong. The discovery. While organizing our financials, I found something. Late-night searches for jobs and apartments in another state, where her old college boyfriend had just moved, a separate credit card, weekend hotel charges in a different city, then where she said she was visiting her sister. It was all there. She was planning her exit. I just beat her to it. I contacted a real estate agent and assessed the value of our home, bought mostly with my money, but in both our names. I began separating our finances, redirecting paychecks, creating a financial firewall. To the world, we were still the perfect couple, but I was already gone. The confrontation. The night I ended it, I made it feel like a celebration. Dinner at home, her favorite meal, expensive wine. She thought I was apologizing. When she smiled and said, "This is nice," I responded, "I've been thinking about what you said, about this marriage feeling like a prison." Her smile faltered. "That was a joke," she said quickly. "You know how I talk with friends." I nodded. "I do. I've heard that joke a lot. And I realized, if you feel imprisoned, maybe it's time I let you go." I slid the manila envelope across the table. Inside, a full divorce filing, asset documentation, bank records, a clear path to her freedom. She stared, blinked, then whispered, "This is a joke, right?" I met her eyes. "No, this is the most serious thing I've done in 5 years." The panic came next. Accusations, tears, rage. You planned this? She screamed. Behind my back? You've been pretending. I stayed calm. You've been pretending too. To be happy, to be committed. I just finally believed you. When she tried guilt, I reminded her of the emails to her ex. When she tried denial, I reminded her of the secret credit card. When she finally broke down and asked, "What about us? The future? The family we wanted?" I corrected her. I wanted a family. You wanted freedom. The aftermath. For the next few weeks, the spin began. She told friends I was having a breakdown, that I had become cold, distant, that I had blindsided her. Some called me, tried to guilt me. I stayed silent. Even my parents were shocked until I told them the full story. The real story, the moment that mattered most. When she said, "Everyone's going to blame you. You'll be alone." And I said, "That's the point." Because if this marriage was a prison, then I wasn't the warden. I was the inmate, and I had just walked free. When I included screenshots of her messages, where she complained about visiting my family while telling them how much she missed them, the truth became undeniable. The documented contradictions silenced any doubts. "We always sensed something wasn't right," my father finally admitted. "The way she'd say one thing to us and post something completely different online, we just didn't want to interfere." Their support didn't just comfort me, it strengthened my resolve. As the social fallout intensified, people took sides. Some vanished entirely. Invitations stopped coming. Social media became a passive-aggressive war zone with cryptic captions and conspicuous omissions from group photos. But I remained calm, professional. At work, I channeled everything into performance and secured the biggest client account of my career. My coworkers noticed. It wasn't a breakdown, it was the return of focus, drive, and intensity. Then came an unexpected message. A man I barely knew, the husband of one of her college friends, asked to meet for a drink. Curiosity won over caution. "My wife doesn't know I'm here," he said. "She'd kill me if she found out. But you deserve the truth." He told me that for over a year she'd been planting seeds, complaining to anyone who'd listen. Worse, he had overheard her planning her exit strategy, timed perfectly to follow my next promotion. Wait for the income bump, then file for divorce. I had moved too soon. My unexpected timing had thrown off her entire plan. "I'm not trying to stir things up," he added, looking genuinely uncomfortable. "I just thought you should know. You made the right call." That night, I returned to my modest apartment, bare walls, minimal furniture, but for the first time it didn't feel like a downgrade. It felt like freedom. The mask slips. Her carefully crafted victim narrative started to unravel. A mutual friend who had originally reached out in her defense messaged again. "I saw her having lunch with her ex yesterday, the one she swore she hadn't seen in years. Something isn't adding up." Then her own sister called me. "She asked me to lie," she admitted. "Those weekends she said she was visiting me, she wasn't. I can't keep covering. You were always good to her, and to us." Each revelation validated everything I had felt. The prison doors hadn't just opened. They had vanished. Divorce by design. The proceedings moved efficiently. Her initial demands were laughable. Half the house, a slice of my retirement accounts, ongoing support, even a cut of future stock options. "She's operating on outdated assumptions," my lawyer said. "She thinks marriage entitles her to more than the prenup allows." At mediation, reality hit hard. Each demand she made was met with meticulous documentation. The prenup she signed without reading. Bank records showing my greater contributions. Proof of her consistent employment. "There will be no alimony," the mediator explained. "The house proceeds will reflect contribution, not equality. Your access to his Future earnings ends with this marriage. Her confidence collapsed. This can't be right, she muttered. We were married for 5 years. Marriage, the mediator replied, is not a lifetime entitlement to someone else's assets. The parking lot plea. After the session, she asked to talk. Her anger was gone, replaced with calculated calm. This doesn't have to be adversarial, she said softly. We can be fair, without lawyers. But I recognize the tactic. Connect emotionally, undermine the process, gain control. We're just following the prenup, I replied. The one you signed willingly. That was different, she insisted. I didn't understand what marriage meant. And I didn't understand you had a strategy to cash out once I succeeded. Her eyes widened. The mask slipped. Who told you that? Does it matter? It's true. Then came the final pivot. Tears, regret, remorse. I made mistakes. I said things I didn't mean. But we can fix this. Counseling, time, don't throw it all away over words. But I had already done the work. I was no longer the man who sacrificed his peace to keep a sinking ship afloat. I'm not your safety net, I said. This divorce will continue, as scheduled. The rise. The house sold fast. Proceeds divided by documented contribution, my retirement accounts, untouched, my future income and stock options, protected. With her gone, my life accelerated. I accepted the promotion she once protested, moved to Chicago. My apartment overlooked the lake. Sunrises became my morning ritual before training runs for the marathon she once discouraged. I reconnected with friends, visited my family, celebrated holidays with authentic joy. Without her emergencies, scheduling conflicts, and last-minute changes, I rediscovered real relationships, and my finances soared. My savings surged, investments flourished. I was no longer carrying the weight of her lifestyle. The final encounter. A year later, I saw her, by chance, at an industry conference in Atlanta. Our eyes met across the hotel lobby, polite smiles, social reflexes. She approached first. You look well, she said, scanning me. Thank you. How have you been? I asked, with genuine neutrality. Still trying to find the right fit, she said, her voice trailing off. Her confident posture was gone. Her eyes scanned my executive title on the badge. Then the pitch. Maybe we could grab coffee later. Catch up? For a moment, I felt nothing but clarity. I appreciate the offer, I said, but I'm fully booked. Good luck with your job search. I walked away, calm, whole, unburdened. That night, I received a final text from an unknown number. You were right to leave when you did. I'm sorry I made our marriage a prison. For both of us. I didn't respond. No response was necessary. True freedom. Her metaphor of marriage as prison had been accurate, but not in the way she meant. Her constraints were born from entitlement, chronic dissatisfaction, and manipulation. Mine came from loyalty to the wrong person. Real freedom wasn't walking away from responsibility. It was walking toward a life aligned with my values, toward self-respect, peace, and possibility. By setting her free, I had finally set myself free.